Hello teacups, what's brewing? As you can hear, some things have been going on for me. You're gonna get more cuts than usual, even for me, because I have a hacking cough and my voice is a little bit wrecked. I literally put on Twitter 3 hours ago, like, guys, sorry, I meant to do more videos, but you know, this cold has completely laid me out. I've got some kind of sinus infection. Actually it's over there somewhere. I do have a COVID test because it's not COVID. It's some kind of sinus infection cold thing that's making the rounds at school that I caught off my boys. So why am I online when I sound like this? Good question. I've got tea, no milk. I've been off dairy and therefore off coffee because I drink lattes for 3 days. So we're doing this without coffee. So I wasn't gonna do any of this for a few days. It's a long weekend, thought maybe recover, do something later. Foodie out here with a pre-recorded video, are you kidding? We'll get into that in a second. She is currently live, something best Starbucks alternative, something like that. I was trying to say Starbucks there, I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, we'll just call it part of the illness, shall we? So she's on live and I went in to check, but I just can't get bogged down in multiple lives at the minute, you guys. But she seemed pretty snappy when I was clicking on through, which I know is so far away from her usual. But depending on how I'm feeling tomorrow, I may end up cutting that down. It feels like it's going to be a multi-stream day tomorrow. Like she seems to be gearing up for it. So for now, we have, how long is this video? I want to say 18 minutes. Oh, my mouse is frozen again. I want to say 18 minutes, but we will cut down as we go.
All right, so I'm going to try to do this. I haven't really done this because I don't really know what to say, because I kind of want to keep this part private of my life now. So the transition from being so open and live all the time and talking about this subject forever has made it hard for me to just completely shut up about this. And
just a point as we go on, I don't understand. Sometimes, like, it might be the medicine on, it might be the fact that it's a little bit later and I'm tired, but when she's like, because I want to keep it private, it's making it hard to shut up, that doesn't make sense to me, but it might just be me not passing it correctly. Yeah. She did around this time. When I saw this video, it had been up for an hour. Yeah. And if you look at the same, either directly before or directly after, while she's sitting here with her very softly voice, and let me explain myself, she was going off on Twitter and just making the rounds of whoever to give some comments on their posts. So, you know, I said she's a little bit snappy in the one that's running right now. Very much that energy on Twitter. Twitter's not a good medium for her. It's a little bit too instantaneous. She doesn't have the self-control for it. But I'll put them up on screen for you so that you can see what she's been saying. So just compare the energy a little bit, yeah?
I probably won't bother editing this video.
Quelle surprise.
I kind of just didn't feel like going live, but I wanted to. I don't usually read my comments much anymore. I browse through some of them.
Yeah, because she can't handle them.
Try to just read the nice ones if I can, but I also happen just right now to be reading some, and some were getting on my nerves, so mostly.
Although, I'm guessing on her comment section as well, but also on Twitter.
Just these stupid accusations from the same people who, over and over, but there are actual genuine confusion. There is genuine confusion. I'm very tired, I'm sorry.
I'll forgive her that because I'm messing up my words because I'm tired, but I thank her for correcting it because I'm that kind of grammar Nazi.
I'm like just going through a bit of insomnia right now. I'm trying to detox from edibles, which I rely on a high dose of to sleep at night. But
You know, I'm betting that all the live streaming and devices are not necessarily helping her sleeping. I realise that there are people who have genuine insomnia, and it's all very well for us to be like, hey, have you tried this? I generally have very poor sleep hygiene. I don't sleep very well. And I feel like everything in her life, from her diet to her habits, are kind of weighted towards preventing her from having a good sleep cycle. So I think there are things she could change. Not the point of the video, but just to say.
So that's why I'm awake now. And I'm also trying not to eat fast food. So, anyways,
Question, because like I said, I've been a little bit behind because of all this. Has she ordered takeout in the last few days? Because, okay, let's talk a minute about the money, the e-begging. So I checked in with her and was like, are you kidding? She had a power cut for 12 hours, which she, to her credit, well, there's not much credit here, but to be fair, I should say, she didn't know it was going to last 12 hours. Yeah? So she e-begged. She was like, anyone who can help, I may need to go to a hotel. We don't have the money to cover it. So bear in mind how much she gets paid, yeah? But even not counting that, that just confirms everything we suspected about her finances. She's got zero savings, but also, like, between the two of them, they couldn't even scrounge up what the nights in was $60, yeah? Because she said Nada 30, her 30, yeah? Which is why they went to a shitty hotel, because supposedly they split the cost, supposedly. So between the two of them, bearing in mind they both have credit cards, which I'm guessing must be maxed out now, they couldn't cover the cost of a hotel for a night, a cheap hotel for a night. That is a little bit shocking to me. So I'm just wondering, what have we seen her buy on camera since, be it food or anything else, that would show her spending money, if we've seen anything? Because it just shows how close to the bone she lives, and it's an interesting adventure to be like, hang on, so she ordered this, but she couldn't pay for that? She had to ask people to PayPal her?
digress. That's why I'm the way I am right now. So I'm just kind of hiding away in my room, and
You're
I
always
really
like that.
don't know how to try to make this situation make sense to you guys. Like with the whole, mostly the legal charges and everything. I'm just really.
Lies often don't make sense. If she were telling the truth, it would make sense.
Really tired of like being accused of like
Lies, being a lying liar
things
who
that
lies.
are not, like, when people don't know the whole picture. So
We know the picture you've given us. We know the picture we've been shown. We know the picture we can deduce around the other lies of hers that we've identified. If she doesn't have the credibility to tell the truth and doesn't tell the truth in general, like, how are we supposed to know the real true story of what's going on behind the scenes? Based on what we've seen and what she's admitted, we know what we know. She's got no one to blame but herself if she feels like we've misjudged.
like just being accused of like lying about sexual assault
Yeah.
and domestic violence.
I don't necessarily think she's lied about domestic violence. I think there are times where she's been on the receiving end of abuse. However it is you countenance abuse, whether you countenance it as physical or mental or emotional. I think she has admitted already, hasn't she, to exaggerating the SA charges? I'm sure she's already admitted to that. And I guess we'll see what else she says.
And I guess now I'll insert a trigger warning if you are easily triggered by
anything. You shouldn't be here.
Talking about subjects that involve abuse.
If you're easily triggered by people lying about subjects involving abuse, also not a good place for you.
Sexual assault, things of that nature, then you might want to skip this video. So,
and indeed her channel, or at least for the last year. I don't know, some of her story times from earlier when she was doing mukbangs, I'd say were pretty close to the bone as well. You might just want to move on.
I've already said pretty much all I really feel like saying about it.
So why are we making the video?
Because I don't really want to like talk about it, because Nada and I talked about, like, we came to an agreement about how we're going to handle things publicly, and
well, stellar job, I'm sure he approved this, but why is she making a video If she doesn't want to talk about it, what's the point?
I don't think it's going that well because we don't really
You think?
have the same opinion on stuff, like how we should handle stuff. Sometimes I'm very, very open and he's very private. People always ask me if I regret. I guess I'm just gonna be very open and honest, but people ask me if I regret ever talking about him in the first place.
No, she doesn't.
Honestly,
no.
Not really, because...
I knew it. Here's the thing, guys. Before I hear her excuse, I listened in on this, and then I was like, nah, this is going to be a video. So I just started getting ready while I was listening. She needs the attention her channel gives to her. Yeah, she needs it. It is her lifeblood. It is the oxygen she breathes. The Nada storyline, it may have given her infamy rather than fame, but it was a huge, awful boost to her channel. And right now she's seeing less views and less interest and just people are sick of her shit. I don't think it was a positive direction to take her channel, but it brought in an audience. It generated a lot of talk, good or bad. She couldn't have lived without it.
Maybe for him it's a bad thing.
Maybe.
That I talked about him and outed a lot of our shit. But for me, I used my community for the past year as a means of support.
I was waiting for her to say therapy.
For what I was going through, I just really needed an outlet. And I know people are like, therapy.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna say, like, fuck all the way off with that shit from...
Okay, I'll just, before you start then, also tell you to go fuck yourself, right? Just so we can get it out the way and I feel we can move forward clearer.
Now on, because here's the thing, there's not one size fits all when it comes to like treatment for people. I've tried.
Absolutely, that's absolutely true. One size does not fit all, one therapist does not fit all, one treatment plan does not fit all. Here is my problem with this, which is she is about to claim that she's tried therapy and it doesn't work, essentially. You know, it's not for her. She has never done the real work of therapy. She's had a couple of introductory sessions and then either avoided going back or run when shit's got hard. So she's never gotten to the point where she'd have to answer a hard question or actually do the work that would be unpleasant but therapeutic. It would help her in many, many ways. She was forced into a treatment plan, a mental treatment plan of some kind when she was younger, because we know with the fake suicide attempt and then the group home, it sounds like, and because she was talking about running away from it before, because she went to her grandma's, I believe, if I'm getting that straight in my head. So she's had a bad experience of it in youth. And then as an adult, she's kind of played with therapy like this and been like, no, and never really done it. You cannot judge therapy on that. Therapy is not meant to be enjoyable, it's meant to be useful. And she's never used it as a tool. She's kind of picked it up and thrown it away to say that she was doing it, or to say, oh no, well, I can't change because I don't have a therapist yet. That's the role it's played in her life. So to sit there and be like, therapy doesn't work for everyone. How would you know if it works for you? You've never actually tried it in the way it's meant to be used.
Therapy, I don't like it. I don't find it does much for me.
I bet if I went to a therapist for one session, it wouldn't do much for me either. That's why you go for more than one session.
I have given it I have done a few sessions, and beyond getting worksheets and stuff like that,
Yeah.
For me, therapy, it's more therapeutic for me to talk online.
No, it's not. You know why? Because your audience, although we can tell you things, she gets angry at her audience. We've seen it trigger her hugely. Those worksheets that she's kind of dismissing are the first step in you being able to break down some of the thoughts. Like a step I was given in therapy when I first started, just started with, okay, go with what you're thinking here and identify the hot thoughts, what she termed hot thoughts, which were really kind of the driving thoughts that I was sticking on. the ones that were the most intrusive, I suppose. And that's when she goes, oh, worksheets. That's the kind of shit that you have to start with. So you can start unpacking that and picking at it is basically how I felt at the time. I was like, stop. But it's not a comfortable process at all. It is not a comfortable process at all. But it's not designed to be, because it wouldn't be useful if it were. And your internet audience can't replace therapy. It can't. We are not designed for that. We are not, even if people in your audience have a background in psychology, in psychiatry, it's not the same as having sessions.
And almost like a diary kind of thing. And I know it's not professional help and it doesn't replace professional help, but for me, that's just how I was choosing to cope with that particular situation in my life.
So what she essentially wants is friends. She wants to be like, guys, this shit's going down. She wants to talk about it. I don't even blame her for that. My God, I question some of the things she shared online. I really do. But I don't blame her for wanting someone to talk to. But a diary is a diary and therapy is therapy. And they can be useful to each other sometimes. Like, you couldn't do a meaningful course of therapy with Foodie without addressing in part at least her channel. You couldn't. I'm not saying they are separate beings, but her coming online and raging, or her coming online and crying, yes, it documents, but it doesn't do anything other than, set us off.
Not using YouTube as a way to replace proper psychiatry and stuff like that. I'm just saying that.
How many times on channel has she said, no, well, YouTube is my therapy? She has said those exact words.
Because I know people are going to bring that up. So that out of the way, I just wanted to say also thank you very much for those people who were supportive for me during that time. I really, really appreciate that. Just being there, like, unconditionally and non-judgmentally.
And pain.
I know it was a very emotional roller coaster for everybody, with a lot of back and forth. I don't feel like I should apologize for that, because honestly, viewers don't have to be involved in a creator's life if they don't want to, right? So, like, everyone has their own personal responsibility as well to...
Question, like, in this particular case, she gave a trigger warning. But when you talk about all the Foodie stuff, let's take her statement as read at the moment. You don't have to be here. Now, I'm invested. I'm going to be here. Like, it is what it is. But let's say somebody who's maybe been with her for a little while, somebody like me who maybe doesn't react, who isn't invested in that way, has been with her for a while, and then the Nada story arc starts. If someone throws a ball that hits you in the face, do you know it's going to hit you in the face? Was she trigger warning some of her conversations in the beginning there where she was doing this? Just because viewers have a choice whether to watch or not doesn't necessarily lessen the impact of what she says. Because people don't know when the ball's going to hit them in the face. Yeah? Putting stuff out there is damaging. Damaging in a really meaningful way if what's connecting you to Foodie is this experience. The fact that you don't care if your audience is here or not until you're short on money, or you're e-begging, or you're asking them to do something or find something or help you. The fact that you don't care about your audience doesn't mean that you don't impact your audience.
Like, this is my channel, so it's going to be pretty much very uncensored as much as I can get away with on YouTube from now on.
Get away with. Be careful. Be very careful. I don't think she's flashed. No, she has flashed since her channel went down, hasn't she? Yeah, don't think she's been flashing again, and then I rethought it. Yeah, she's going to be open and real and raw, you guys. And okay, if you're an old audience member and you know what Foodie is exactly online, then you go into that with your eyes open, and occasionally you need to bleach them. If you're a new member, you don't know that. Yes, it's her channel. But her channel doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's my internet connection. I can say what the fuck I want.
Whenever I feel like opening up about that happens to me in my personal life, I will. And if you are somebody who's sensitive to trauma dumping or whatever you want to call it, then my channel is probably not going to be for you. I do want to do a lot more positive content, but
she's been saying that for a while now. Have you seen more positive content from her? Because I haven't.
My life is messy, and
well,
life is just not like that. Life is a lot of ups and downs, and I just want to really just document everything on my channel, and mostly probably a lot of bad, because like
so the positivity should be with us regardless of what she presents. I see.
The bad times are what I really just need help through the most, you know.
Oh, so you do care about your audience. You care about your audience being positive to you when you want it, but shut the fuck up when you don't. That's what you're saying. I see.
Oh, like, I don't know. So anyway, I just feel like talking at you right now instead of with you. So that's the difference with the live stream and the videos.
And thank God this is a video and not a live stream. If this had been a live stream, I would not be reacting right now.
So I do want to do more vlogs as well in the future, but that will be another video. So regarding everything that happened, my feelings have changed so many times over the past few months with what to do, what I want to do. And a lot of people are wondering if I'm lying about if the accusations are false. And
I'm not wondering. She lying.
And I don't really want to talk about like the details of what happened between us and
she lying and she clickbaiting
these fights and stuff like that.
She's already talked
But we
about
had
it.
a very toxic, abusive relationship, and I'm gonna say that it was abusive at times.
And remember, I'm not taking that away from her. I'm questioning the SA allegation. I'm not taking away from the fact that earlier in the relationship, before the police arc, I do believe there was abuse.
On both ends.
Yep.
And yeah, so I mean, I would say that technically some of the charges could be like valid, but
technically some of the charges could be valid. Does that sound like the truth to you? Does that sound like something she went in that was serious enough to report to the police and all related services for the time she wasted? Technically, some of the allegations could be true, or some of the charges, or whatever she said. That is not the same as them being true. Even if she doesn't want to say it, I mean, she has said before what the charges were. But what the fuck are you doing fabricating an SA charge? Essentially saying, some of the stuff we did I could twist into a charge, which I tried to do, but changed my mind. Some of it could technically be true, so you're lying.
I decided not to press charges because
No. You decided not to. You pressed charges, and according to you and the somewhat suspect letter, it got thrown out or not pursued or whatever the technical language is for that. You went into the police station, you filed that report. You pressed those charges, they weren't continued with. You tried to drop them and you were told you couldn't. The charges were pressed.
I decided to like basically just say like, you know, I just wanted to like give another chance basically and just forgive and just like not like I don't think mentally I could handle.
And that was the email she claims to have sent to them.
And
all of this is based on her story. I realise you can question every bit of it. I realise that out there they'll be like, oh, she never did the charges, whatever, I don't believe you. But we saw her outside somewhere. She said she had done the charges. She said she had sent the email. I can only go on the evidence we supposedly have. Otherwise, none of this is a possible talking point.
I'm making this video because we don't like agree on certain things.
So she wants to be right. That's the thing. She doesn't want to talk about it. But before she stops, she wants to be the last word.
He doesn't agree. He doesn't want to admit to anything. He doesn't want to talk about anything. So it makes it very hard.
Of course he doesn't want to. You tried to get him up on charges. Why would he want to?
And
It wasn't his nature to begin
in
with.
a way, that's
now?
fine. If it's something private, fine, whatever. But like for me, I know when I was going through shit, I had to share it. Some stuff I probably didn't have to. I was very personal about him sometimes, and like a lot of the name calling and everything. But like I was really, really on a lot of bad drugs this past summer, and just really like just psychotic. Like I was snapped. Like,
okay, not that I'm disagreeing, but where is the personal accountability here? Well, I was on a lot of drugs. Well, who made you take those drugs? Because you seemed very excited that you were going to be a bad girl. So it seems like you made some choices.
I just like watched some of my streams, and I was just like not in a healthy place. So
I charged him with SA. It's just what happens, guys.
Yeah. And when you're in something, it's so hard. Like whenever, like all of you, the only person who has a different view of Nader than anyone else is me.
Have you considered reading something into that?
I remember thinking like, not a single fucking person thinks that we should be together.
Because it was obvious to the world this was a terrible idea.
But not a single other person out there has feelings for Nader. Like,
she makes this point, and I'm like, yeah, that's the point. That's the point. We did not have, I mean, you could argue we have our judgment clouded by the general sentiment towards Foodie, but we did not have the love for him that you claim to have. Takes those rose-colored glasses right off. You were warned from the get-go, from the very first red flag, that he was bad news. Us not feeling that way about him is just better because it's clearer. You don't have that clouding your judgment.
You know what I mean? Like, you guys are like viewers with no emotional attachment. So if you don't have an emotional attachment, it's so much easier to dislike somebody.
Exactly. How is this a justification? You're saying exactly the truth. What? Where are we disconnecting here? How are you getting to a completely different conclusion with these facts?
So much easier to see their flaws. It's so much easier to see them for what they are.
Damn, if only you'd have 1,000 people on live telling you all these things, eh? Wouldn't it have been so much easier for you if you'd had everybody in your corner saying, hey, Foodie, these things.
So when you're in it, it's hard to see it. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Because I got nothing else. Because despite the fact that there were thousands, there were at least 8,000 people per most live streams telling her what a terrible idea this was, she chose to ignore it. So that's all she can really say on the matter. Because she was in a fairly unique position where it wasn't just her family that she wasn't talking to. It wasn't just Pete. It wasn't the people close to her that just didn't understand. It was an entire community. They were all screaming at her. I remember when she started dating him, how much we were like, yeah, bad idea. It's so hard to see.
Going forward, yeah, like we still do talk, but
yeah, why?
Like I've said many times, I don't know, like going forward, what's going on. This is just where I am right now with everything. So our case is dropped, and I'm not even going to entertain people thinking that I forged letters and all that shit.
I mean, it's easier to not entertain it than to try and answer it, right?
You have to pick like who you want to profile me as. Am I a lazy person who would never take the time to write up an actual court document? Or am I a conniving, calculating person who
She's both. She is multifaceted. Yeah? So here's the thing. You can be a lazy person who's stubborn enough to make efforts when it benefits you. You can do that. I can tell you that although there is a small possibility that the letter is real, the letter looked fucking sus. I can tell you that I think it was FFG. Yeah, it must have been FFG because she lives in kind of the same area, doesn't she? Put up a letter that she had got from the courts that did not look the same. I can tell you that people since have said, hey, you wouldn't get that letter from the police, you would get it from the court. And I can tell you the letter looked pretty lazy. It looked pretty shoddily put together. Does that 100% make that letter fake? No. We cannot prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that that letter was fake. But there is evidence to show that it could have been. Yeah, there is reasonable doubt. Let's put it that way. And you can be both. You can be incredibly lazy, but do it to spite people. Spiting people gives you an incredible amount of energy. It really does. And she has the printer, she has the ability. If she cared enough, which I would argue the past year has shown us, if anything, inexplicably she cares enough.
Time to miraculously just happen to have a letter from the waiting for you to ask me about it in my drawer. So anyway, I'm used to this crap at this point.
I mean, so are we at this point.
I just want to say that that's pretty much all I want to I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, I just don't want to talk about any of the legal aspect of it because
I got nothing.
It's just too messy. It's just too much. It's too much stress.
She's the one talking about it, by the way. I did not upload this video called About the Abuse and Charges unedited. I was not the one who chose that for her. She is choosing this for herself. If she wants to shut up about it, she needs to shut up.
There's just too much fodder for like haters to twist what I say, as they already have anyways.
Too much fodder for us to see what you say, if you're going to call me a hater.
Me saying technically about the SA charges turned into me completely admitting to lying about it.
What was the wording again? Some of the charges could technically be true. Some, not all, could, not are. You choose the words that come out your mouth. Sorry, I had to grab some water. The throat says no.
It's one of those situations that is not really black and white. It's not a yes or no.
Some of it, like if it came down to a court of law, prove that he did it, that can be a very difficult thing to prove because it ends up being he said, she said. But she knows the truth. For her, she can say yes or no. She's choosing not to. She's choosing to bandy around it, which is usually her way of lying. You know, so don't be shocked that we're reading into your behaviour the same thing we read into your behaviour every time you lie.
And if I could explain it, you would understand, but I can't, so.
No. There's no legal case, you're choosing not to explain it. So if there's confusion, who's it on?
So I guess you'll have to think I'm a liar then. I don't know what to say.
Oh,
well. But,
uncomfortable with that.
I don't give a fuck what people think.
We'll see, because you had some things to say on Twitter and your current life is still going.
You know, this is something I dealt with, and only I and he knows really exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna stay that way.
In terms of clearing things up, you didn't clear the things that you think you did. And I 100% believe that she is a liar in many ways.
Time I've come on here, and anytime we've had a fight, anything that's happened, I would come on right away and talk about it. So I didn't lie about any of those events.
What, to us or to the police?
Yeah.
The answer is you did to both of them, but there we go.
The timing and the motive for going to the police, though.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I was on the fence a long time about it. And then that day I saw that he was going to the, I thought he was going to the police station, and then I just felt like, I just felt overwhelmed. Like, if I'm honest, I felt like between wanting to do, like, feeling like the pressure of wanting to do the right thing.
Excuse you. If you're a little bit newer to the foodieverse, God bless you, you don't know what you've gotten into. But for those who've been around for a bit and remember this, she reported him for 2 reasons. 1, the thirst for justice and revenge. And 2, the fact that she had engaged in some very problematic behaviour in terms of stalking out his house where she was waiting outside in her car and she thought he was going to report her. Those are the reasons she did it. Sorry guys, I had to take a short break. I just had a bit of a coughing fit. I had to top up my hot water. I'm going to move this along a bit faster because I'm losing my voice.
And then also being super jealous. I'm not going to lie and say that wasn't any motivator at all because, yeah, Dee being there fucked me up bad. Yeah, it did.
The other week, one of my kids was playing a game with another kid and he lost the coin toss and he punched the other kid in the stomach. And I was like, what are you doing? And he said, well, he made me angry. What was I supposed to do? This is what this reminds me of. Well, I was jealous, so, I went to the police. What? Sorry. What?
I'm not coming on here to try to make Nader look worse. I'm not coming on here to try to make myself look better.
Oh, good, because you're not succeeding in either way.
Yeah, I'll openly admit, I was, jealousy wasn't I wasn't jealous of her being there, so that's not why, the sole reason I went to the police station.
It very much influenced the timing, put it that way.
And,
the other one was fear because he was going to go, supposedly.
All of that, everything I was there for a long time, talked to the detective about everything, and I don't want to talk about all that. I just want to put it in the past and behind me. So
I'm making this video in which I refuse to tell you anything because I need the views.
So I'm just gonna, I guess, continue to ignore comments for now. I think that...
But keep paying for membership, you guys.
That's the price you have to pay with putting your shit out there online, is, you have to deal with it being there forever and ever and ever, and that's just how the fuck it is right now. I just wanted to clear that up. I don't want to edit this, I'm too lazy.
She didn't clear anything up. She just literally said, yeah, I'm not a liar, everything is true, and yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
But you know that already. Yeah, I really don't. I don't want to edit. And I just don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm tired of it. I want it gone in the past. She's the one talking. And just move on. I'm talking to somebody. And not just that, I'm just working on myself too, more. Or trying to.
I don't think either of those things is true. Actually, no. The first one, that she's talking to someone, we saw that she had gone to meet somebody in the parking lot of the bowling alley, was it? I still believe, in as much as we can call those meetings dates, I suppose, I still believe the only reason she's getting involved with other men at all is in some convoluted way of trying to make Nader jealous, which is never going to happen because he doesn't feel that way for her. He just doesn't. As for working on herself, show me evidence. Show me actions instead of words. Because we've seen her clean up a little bit. I do think she's at that point where she's like, oh, I want to make a change. But she never goes through to make that change. She's currently out of money, so some of the changes she's making are more financial necessity than they are any kind of mental want. So I guess, today is payday for her. I guess we'll see what she's like in a day.
Every day is a struggle. Every day is a struggle. So
pity her, except when she's raging in comments.
Anyways, guys, I just wanted to clear that up about the charges. I know I probably sounded defensive at some points. I guess I am a little bit.
Yeah.
Just being attacked over and over for just lying about serious things like that.
Yeah. When you lie about serious things like that, it makes it harder for people who actually go through serious things like that to be believed. This is the danger of people like Foodie, who waste police time and police resources and plant doubt in police minds when real victims go and ask for help.
When you don't know the whole picture, it's just annoying. So that's
I wish people would just believe me. It would be so much easier.
That's my statement on it. And that's all. I'm going to leave it at this. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to open it up.
Mark your calendars. She's definitely not talking about it live right now.
It's staying in the vault between Nader and I and whatever the case was, and that's it. So I'm moving on.
Let's see.
We've both talked about it at the hotel. We've both decided to forgive and move on and try not to have a repeat of the last year.
She does get stuck in cycles, and she is dating again, so let's see.
So I'm sure the train wreck was exhausting, maddening, and probably for some entertaining.
I'm confused by the word was.
For me, it was well, I don't know. It's
God forbid you think about it.
It's changed me. Some ways good, some ways bad.
Really? I'm not sure that's true. I think all the behaviors we've seen have just been exasperated by the situation she's been in for the past year. But if you work back in her channel, all the rage, all the addictive personalities, all the want to expose everything online, the inability to take criticism or to learn, all of the things that we've seen in the past year have existed within her and within her channel at different degrees prior to this. This didn't turn up anything new, it just dialed it up to 10.
So, just the early morning reflection, I can't sleep, and I was just thinking about that, and maybe what I should tell people.
Yeah, it's hard thinking of the next lie. And what she's told people is, I don't want to talk about it. And you're like, okay, so why is the video here?
Yeah, part of me, obviously I don't want people to think that I'm like a horrible person. I don't think anybody wants people to think that, you know?
I would agree, but I think that ship might have sailed, my dear. I mean, even if you take the Nada stuff out of the equation, which is a lot of the stuff, she's got a lot of behaviour behind her that people don't like.
So, I just don't want people to think that I'm like the type of person that would like just make up shit just because I'm like angry. Like I
1000% think she's that type of person. She would 1000% make up something just to get a dig in. She would 1000% do that, and we have seen her. We've seen that part of her personality. But like I said, if we take out the Nada stuff, all the other stuff she's done over the course of her time on YouTube, how she's referred to different sexualities and them being dirty, how she's referred to people of other races and colours, how she has continually doubled down on using the R word. She's done a lot of stuff, yeah? Constantly gone after people with kids. Like, there's a lot of stuff before Nada that was a problem, and then you added this.
No, I've never done that. I would never do that. Like something that serious.
Really? So you wouldn't call CPS on someone's mom?
Basically, I guess everything I've told you as true is true. Nice. Some of the charges are, like I said, I can't talk about it, but
because they're
I mean, like I said, anytime it would just be like instinctive, not instinctive, but just like impulsive. Anytime we would like, something would happen and I'd be super emotional, I would just come online and talk about it. And that's, like I said,
So,
I pretty much just used it as a community of like support.
This wasn't a community of support. This was an audience for rage. This was you being able to make your point. Because she didn't want the feedback. She wanted the ears. It's different.
So, anyways,
And the money, obviously.
I think we can all agree it's fucked up and we are in need of a new arc. I just really want everyone to be healthy and safe and happy and all that good shit.
Again, see comments, see Twitter, see how she talks to people online.
Whatever you say. And I just don't want any drama anymore.
Stop creating it.
And I really want to friggin' go to bed. So I'm gonna go to bed now. I guess that's it. I'll see you later.
Alright, and that was that. My throat's gone. I'm gonna edit it, I'm gonna upload it. I'll see you whenever I sound more human. Thank you, goodbye.